Hello and welcome to the national debate. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, you would have seen a video. These two in this particular video, Vijay Mallya and Lalit Modi, are fugitives. Look at the height of shamelessness of these two fugitives, how proudly they're flaunting their status in the UK. This arrogance is making the blood of people in this country boil because on one hand, the government and agencies here in India are trying to bring them back so that they face the law here. On the other hand, through this video, they seem to be challenging the government. It's a video that was posted by Lalit Modi, the former IPL chairman, who hosted a lavish private bash to celebrate the 70th birthday of his close friend Vijay Mallya, who's also a fugitive economic offender. Before I tell you more about why they are wanted in India, watch this video again. Before we dive deeper into the story, let me quickly introduce our panelists joining us here in the studio. Is Karan Verma, author. We have Kapil Sankla, Supreme Court lawyer. Raman Malik, political analyst, is with us. We also have with us Dr. Anand Ragnathan, author. Vivek Silas is national spokesperson of Samajwadi Party. Advocate Nikhil Jain, political analyst, is with us. And we have with us Vikas Gupta, who's a criminal lawyer. So what really is the latest developments that have taken place this week as far as the Vijay Mallya cases, and what does he really owe as far as the banks and the system here in India is concerned? The loan amount was at 6,203 crore rupees. This later was said to be a bank fraud of 9,000 crore rupees, as was stated by agencies at that point of time. Vijay Mallya's claim is that over 14,000 crores have been paid back. However, the difference is this: the Enforcement Directorate and other agencies have said that it is a total of 22,000 crores if you include the interest aspect of it, which he actually owes. So there's a difference really in terms of what Vijay Mallya is stating and what the agencies say. What really has been the impact? In 2012, we saw the case of Sushmita, wife of a Kingfisher employee who had then committed suicide. Her husband had not been paid his salary for 6 months at that point of time. Committed suicide due to financial distress at that point of time is what we were told. And there are thousands of other employees as well who've been affected. Now, there's a move by the Enforcement Directorate to pay about 300 odd crores to some of those who have actually approached the courts of law. But what are the courts saying to Vijay Mallya? Just this week, the Bombay High Court has asked Vijay Mallya, when do you intend to return to India? That's a direct question posed there. We'll hear your petition when you return. Remember, so far he's been seeking relief without appearing in person or being physically present in India. Further, the court has said you can challenge any order against you, but the court has made it very clear that we can't let you challenge the virus, particularly if he's not on Indian soil. They've also said that he must submit to the court's jurisdiction. This is very, very clear that courts have also had enough. Let's quickly open this up and bring it across to our guests. And let me take my first question across to our guests over here. You're a lawyer, Kapil Sankla. Right. What Vijay Mallya is doing, or what he's been doing for over a decade, is that he's in UK, he's in another jurisdiction, 9 years. I think 2016 is the time he left the country. The point is that even now courts are saying they've had enough. What are the options before Vijay Mallya? He will have to come back and submit before the law if he wants any further relief in these cases. It's quite clear now.
You see, one of the strongest arguments that is put by the accused in cases like these are pertaining to human right and human right conditions, also political issues, etc., etc. So the three tranches of his arguments were: one, that this is a political case where there are issues pertaining to he's being made a scapegoat, there'll be media trial against him, and thirdly, that the conditions in the jail are not conducive. I think as far as all three conditions are concerned, our government has clearly shown, and there has been some movement from the British authorities as well, who come seen Tihar. Before that, there was also issue pertaining to the Arthur jail. So as far as those issues are concerned, those are clear. Now, the system does move a little slowly because there are various defenses that a person has, but those are not only on the judicial side, but also on the executive side. So waiting for that to happen, I think the fact that the British government through the courts have come and checked the conditions at jail is a positive step and a huge step towards bringing him back to India.
No, but it's not just the case of Vijay Mallya. The way in which they're cocking a snook at our system, literally challenging the government, saying, hey, we are the most wanted fugitives in India, while they are at a party. Such a frivolous manner in which they're expressing themselves. It's a serious case of defrauding people who are, of course, and look at these, and there are several other such cases which we'll also bring to you of various other fugitive offenders. In the case of Nirav Modi, for instance, we were told about 2-3 years ago that his final appeal has, ended. But he's very much there in the United Kingdom. He's not yet come back to India. What needs to be done now, Vikas Gupta?
Madhav, let's not go into the optics whether they are celebrating or not, because the issue is much, much larger than this. Let's come to basic questions, you need to have a uniformity as far as the executive is concerned. One policy has to be, that policy has to be for everyone. As far as the judgments of the apex court is concerned, it has to be uniformity, it has to be certainty of the judgment. You cannot have for Sandesara brothers, you have another yardstick, and for Vijay Mallya. I'm not defending anybody, Madhav, but the fact of the matter is, if 6,200 crores were there in 2016, and which by virtue of interest and penalties, if you say it is 22,000 crores, or as claimed by Vijay Mallya that already 14,000 crores had been paid back, now you need to look into whether there was any offense that was committed in 2016 or not. Just making someone a businessman a scapegoat or to set up an example is a separate issue, or to actually make out a case is a...
Why didn't he come back to India then?
No,
Submit himself before
Madhav, you are now mixing up two situations. Once the government has initiated the extradition proceedings, now you can't ask, the court will issue a summon to him. You get it, if you have a valid case, you get him through extradition. If you are not able to establish your case, or your appeals are pending at various stages.
No, but the government is not saying that. The Bombay High Court is saying submit yourself before the law.
That's what precisely, Madhav, what I'm trying to say is, if Sandesara brothers can be settled, that was also a matter of 2016.
Okay. What is the matter of Sandesara? I'm going to ask my production team to bring up the graphics related to the Sandesara case. I was going to bring that much later in the debate. That's a separate talking point. But, in a nutshell, if I can bring you in, Raman Malik, the point being made here by the previous speaker is that you can't have different strokes for different folks. If the Sandesaras have about 10,000 crores that is there in the apex court, the Solicitor General then comes up and says that you can pay 5,000 crores and then settle the matter. All right, let's quickly bring that up. Let's quickly show our viewers what this case is about. In the observation in relation to the Sandesara brothers abroad, Supreme Court had agreed to quash the proceedings. They had observed that if they pay up 5,100 crore rupees due to the banks, they can, settle the matter if payment is made on or before the 17th of December is the second observation that has been made. The third observation is that the purpose is recovery of public funds. This is what has been stated in the apex court. Continuing criminal proceedings won't serve any purpose is what has been stated here as well. Observation 5, directions issued in peculiar facts of this particular case, also observing that it should not be treated as a precedent. Why it should not be treated as a precedent, of course, remains to be seen. Now, what exactly was the Sandesara case? The FIR had mentioned 5,383 crore rupees. This is what stated over there. A one-time settlement proposed was at 6,731. Indian firms were at 3,826. Foreign firms at 2,935. Deposited 10% of the outstanding, that is about 614. Paid already is 3,252. IBC proceedings, banks have recovered 1,192 crores. This is as far as the Sandesara case is concerned. Unpaid at the moment is about 2,061 crore rupees, and therefore the offer that then came in was for 5,100 crores if the criminal proceedings are quashed. Raman Malik, I want you to bring you in on this point. The point is, can we have a situation where there are certain fugitive offenders abroad who are being given this kind of treatment? Because at the end of the day, of course, the court accepted it, but it was also a proposal that was put forth by the Solicitor General in this case. Raman Malik.
See, settlement of dues has been a continuous process. Any bank, any financial institution has these set norms where they settle amounts, and in case of NPAs, in case of bad debts and all. But the most important point here for this debate should not be this issue. It should be what was the starting point of all of this ruckus. How did it start? How did it make sure that public fund could be private fund for people? How could Chidambarams, how could the other people pre-2014 have leniency towards giving money just on a bird? Kingfisher brand logo, the bird, got 300 crores. Why? What entitled it? So those are the main points to talk. But yes, at the same point, the brazen show of, no fear of the law by these people.
Impunity. But let me ask you, let me just pause you there 1 minute and just ask you this. See, I'm going to come back to that question. Of course, UPA government also has a lot to answer for. There's no two ways about it. For the point being made, Raman Malik, is this. We know that they will use every trick in the book in the courts in the UK to try and get relief. How do we know that they won't cite this as a precedent, saying that Sandesara has got 50% discount, we also need to get so much settled, and that will be cited by them in terms of settling their dues in the future.
But then, Madhav, one must understand these facts would only come to play once the court is satisfied by them being in India and going through with the case, because the laws have changed. The game has changed after 2014. There have been IBC come in, there have been other laws which have come in, and that has actually changed the game. Otherwise, the Ashok Jain case or the other cases are ample example of how people can fraud and go off, live their life, die outside India and not be responsible.
All right. Nikhil Jain, all right, one by one. Okay, Dr. Nathan, yeah.
Jain.
Go ahead, Dr. Nathan.
Yeah, look, I think when it comes to corruption, there is a very thin line between the BJP and the Congress, and that line seems to be snorted every now and then by both members of the BJP and members of the Congress. So they either the corrupt join both of these parties, or if they're in one party, they shift their allegiance to another party. Or if they are away from both these parties, both parties help to give help to these corrupt people. Let me give you 4 examples dealing only with facts. It's almost as if there is a steeplechase going on and the Congress passes the baton on to the BJP and the BJP does the same thing. Let's just rewind a little, because many of the Gen Z might not know about Quattroki. Yes, Quattroki was absolutely factually culpable in the Bofors scam through the AE services, accepted payments, except the fact that when BJP was in power, the BJP was unable to extradite him from Malaysia. Everyone remembers it. He got away scot-free because the court said, you haven't provided us evidence at all. That was one. And for the BJP's love of the acronyms and, 3 C's, corruption begins with C. There are 3 C's that they interchange, almost like they're playing, hopscotch. These squares. One is culpability, the other is connivance, and the third is something that I would call clumsiness. When I talk of connivance, I talk of the next case. Has anybody asked the Prime Minister who changed the notice from detain to lookout, enabling Mallya to escape? Had that notice, CBI notice, not been changed, he would not have been able to leave the country. Number 2, I am talking of culpability. I have talked of connivance. Culpability is when Hari Prasad, the famous whistleblower in the PNB Nirav Modi scam, gave all the concrete documents about the massive scam to the PMO. There was no inaction. And next thing you know, these guys have flown. And the third is clumsiness bordering on criminal culpability. Recently, when you saw the Goa fire, 11:30 p.m. the fire started. 5 a.m. you had 6 hours. You knew immediately the Luthra brothers are the ones responsible for this, committing illegality. They were able to escape and fly away. So what explains every single time is the phrase, "Ab pachtavat kya hot, jab chidiya chug gayi khet."
Now the UPI has a lot to answer for. Why were these people extended so many loans on such frivolous grounds? That was in fact the nexus between the corporates and the then government. Respond to him.
Absolutely. Now, Madhav, Kingfisher Airlines, as we all might remember, started out with a bang. They were delivering great service, but the airline failed. And whenever a loan is granted to any business, it is granted on a number of factors, a number of guarantees, collaterals, and so on and so forth. The loan was given for a business. The business failed. Now, why is Mallya wrong? I'll tell you why. Because Mallya had given a personal guarantee. And Mallya had personal assets that could have covered the loan. Kingfisher Airlines, a separate juridical person to which the loans were extended, they couldn't have repaid the loans, but Vijay Mallya, the individual with so much assets who had given a personal guarantee to the banks, could have repaid. What did he do? So
Mallya is not wrong. The banks and the government have to account for that.
Banks...
The person who gave the loan have to account for that. Why didn't they secure their loans?
No, Madhav, that is the reason banks asked for a personal guarantee. Now, during the Congress government, the banks had their fail-safe checks. You are asking for collateral, you are asking for a personal guarantee, you are looking at the brand value, you are looking at intangible assets, you are looking at related assets, you are looking at the profits and the balance sheet.
Mr. Jain, give me one example
United
where a logo of the company...
One by one. Okay,
United Breweries, if you might know, was a very successful business. So there was no doubt on Vijay Mallya at the time when the loans were given. But when these loans defaulted, it was the Modi government. What happened in 2016 or I think 15, the finance minister of the time met Vijay Mallya in the parliament for 20 minutes, and Vijay Mallya said that I met the minister, and other MPs saw that this meeting happened in the parliament. With Lalit Modi in 2016 again, the external affairs minister helped him with travel papers on humanitarian grounds. That is her own statement.
When did Lalit Modi escape the country?
My understanding is around after this Modi government came into power,
Really?
and this is
2010. Let me educate you. It's 2010. During the UPA government. So let's not. So it's very well. No, you can close. You can close at others, but also if you're living in glass houses, you should be very careful.
Tell me, please tell me this. Sushma Swaraj, the external affairs minister under the Modi government,
We'll pose that
how
question.
was she helping him with travel papers?
But how did Lalit Modi escape the country then? At that point of time, please tell us.
How was she helping him with travel papers?
We will ask that question. You first tell me the answer. You tell me the answer.
Did I not say when it
allowed
comes to
Lalit
Congress
Modi?
and the BJP?
And on the topic of the Sandesara brothers, on the topic of the
No, we'll come to
brothers.
Sandesara. First, answer the question. Why did he escape in 2010? Why was he allowed at that point of time to escape? Why was there no lookout notice? Why was there no detain notice?
I can turn it around and ask what happened in the Mallya case. See, Madhav,
I
if somebody
already-
escaped,
That's
No, Madhav, I will admit that was a fault of the government at the time. The point is, what action did the subsequent governments or that same government took in the next 4 years? Did they try
No,
to
but
extradite
I'm going to
this?
ask your question. I'm going to ask your question.
No,
first.
no change
But
was
answer
the
the
IBC.
question first.
IBC
Let's
has
go
nothing to do
chronologically.
with
Nikhil
this. If anybody was
Nikhil Jain, calm down. No cross debate. No cross debate. No cross debate. Since there's no
Rahul talks
answer.
about the IBC law change. Let me tell him that under the IBC, the first charge on any recovery that is made is with the financial creditors and not with the salaries of the
These guys are laughing, they're partying, and you know, the point is
This is a
there's
joke
still
on
no
us.
answer as to why Lalit Modi, just as
Please
they have
don't
to
play
answer for why
party.
Mallya
Madhav, I'm
escaped,
incensed.
the UPA government has to account for
down in
why
2008.
these individuals, including Lalit Modi,
is
escaped.
a mocking of 1.4 billion people.
Absolutely.
It's not about BJP or
That's
Congress
exactly
anymore.
why we are debating it.
Look at this video. Stare at these guys.
That is what I'm saying, that the BJP government waters down the lookout circular in 2018 from a detained to an informed.
Why do you have to
as and when the situation
these two other brothers not yet spoken. Calm down. Karan Verma, one second. Rahman Malik, 1 second.
A lot of things.
I want Karan Verma to come in on this. It's the BJP government that watered down the lookout circular. He was to be detained. It was made a lookout. Therefore, Mallya escaped the country. And whatever may be the legal architecture that the government talks about, of course, is the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. The fact is that we failed to bring these people who are laughing, partying, and saying proudly, we're the biggest offenders of India. We're the biggest fugitives of India. Can you believe it?
So, Madhav, at the outset, no two thoughts about that. That was a mistake. You know, what Dr. Ranganathan said, I would pick the C where he says clumsiness. I think that's more of clumsiness what happened in Vijay Mallya's case. But when Nikhil says that Vijay Mallya was an offender during the BJP regime, he must know that in 2012, there were parliamentarians, legislators who said that Vijay Mallya is defaulting and one of his employees has committed suicide. He should be booked for abetment to suicide. So this had started pretty much under the UPA rule. And he's right, Dr. Ranganathan is right, that, you know, there have been honest mistakes. But we need to now see who has actually made the efforts for extradition. Madhav, you'd be surprised that our extradition laws were so botched up. You know, there's a thing called Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty. We had that with a handful of countries. Today, that we have ballooned it to 42 countries. We had one with UK in 2021. In fact, it was Mr. Chidambaram who said that without upgrading this treaty, we had a 1993 treaty, which was the extradition treaty of 1993 with UK. He said we can't do much with this treaty. And still from 1993 till 2021, that wasn't upgraded. We finally signed that in 2021 in Brussels. Plus, you need to understand, when you extradite someone, there are 3 steps that you have to take. You have to make the Interpol issue a red corner notice. For that, you have to alert the 195 countries. We never had a mechanism to do so. In fact, there's a portal, Bharat Poll, which was launched in 2021. After that, there are a lot of processes that are being streamlined. Now, for Vijay Mallya's case, this appeal is pending in the London High Court. What can they do beyond a point? We've had legacy issues where our systems were not in place. Today, I believe this government is making honest efforts to extradite them. Now it's pending in the London High Court. Yes, Rome wasn't built in a day. We can all be impatient, and we should be, rightly so, that they've not, you know, probably done much, but still there have been honest efforts in this regard.
Okay, I think on the red corner notice, I beg to disagree. There have been red corner notices that have been issued before. Perhaps the government has perfected the architecture, improved it. But I would let me bring Mr. Sellers because he's not yet spoken. There is a legal system in the UK. We're contending with the legal system. We are doing our best, says the government. And it is a fact that 14,000 crores have been recovered from Vijay Mallya. Not the best of situations because he's abroad doing what he's doing. What Lalit Modi is doing is there before us. But the government, for its part, is trying its best, says the government. Your response?
I think, Madhav, it's quite incredible as seeing the video what Vijay Mallya and Lalit Modi are doing. You know, they are making a mockery of the Indian government in London or in UK in a party, and they are having all the whiskeys and everything. You know, it's not about Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi, or Sandesara brothers, Hitesh Patel, Ravi Uppal, Jatin Malhotra. It's about Mehul Bhai also. And you know, our honorable Prime Minister called Mehul Choksi Mehul Bhai baithe hue hain mere samne. You know, there are 5,149 absconders from India who have absconded taking loans from the bank under the regime of Narendra Modi's government since 2014. The main absconder today in this debate is the Bharatiya Janata Party who have absconded from this debate. Why aren't they here? They should come and answer.
Okay. BJP should be here. That's a point. Well, we did invite them. They declined to come. Yeah, Kapil Sankla, respond to one of the
I
point.
completely agree with my panelists on my left who said that Rome wasn't built in a day. As a lawyer, I know how the laws were, and I've done international arbitrations for the government. I know what our real estate and our goodwill internationally was in Singapore and UK, and how it's been developed over the years. So kudos to the government, a non-political statement, that's one. Secondly, today we have, if I'm not mistaken, between 42 to 48 treaties, which has substantially grown, and 12 non-treaty understandings. So there's a total of 60 treaties or understandings that we have. Thirdly, very quickly, there was an issue pertaining to the, what was the Sardesai brothers?
Sandesara.
Yes, Sandesara brothers. That case was pertaining to the brothers managed to prove in an international forum that this was a case of political in nature and political vendetta, and showed their bona fide by paying some, if not all, of the dues which are there. In this particular case, there are two important things. One, Vijay Mallya has been promising this bogey since forever. The amount that he is stating also is a trumped up amount as far as his goodwill and his brand goodwill is concerned. And thirdly, no money has been shown. This is a case of money siphoning. That money was taken as loan for X purpose and used for his lavish lifestyle, transferred and given to his children and in their bank account. So it is not a case, but so you can't actually, this is a case.
You can't compare the two cases. Dr. Ranganathan, is it a fair question that you can't compare the two cases? Because in my mind, anybody who's cheated the country, looted taxpayer money and has run abroad deserves to be dragged back.
Now look, I don't know how to, whether there's an English equivalent of this Hindi proverb, but it fits it like a, like a glove. Bhagte bhoot ki langot pakad lo. Now, my two very good friends are saying, look, in the last 10 years, what we've done is to have, made the laws so much more robust, extradition. Arey bhai, the robust laws wouldn't have been required if you had not let that fellow go off away from India. You wouldn't have needed good extradition laws had that fellow not, flown away. The point of the matter is, again, I ask, connivance, culpability, clumsiness in all three cases of Nirav Modi, Vijay Mallya, Luthra brothers. And for my good friend to say that 30 people are murdered, within 5 minutes the whole bar was illegal, within 5 minutes that they are going to escape away from India, still for 6 hours you don't do anything, you don't notify the airports, the fellows go to Thailand. Right. And you are saying it happened in the middle of the night. So there is culpability, there is criminality, which head rolled. Do we know the name of the person? Has the government disclosed the name of the person who changed the notice from detained to lookout? No. Has the person told the name of the person in PMO India who was given those whistleblower documents pertaining to PNB scam from, perpetrated by Nirav Modi? No. The point is, it is the government that has not put in the accountability.
Okay, Karan, you want to take that question?
So, I respect his emotions. Everybody is aghast, rightly so.
Emotion.
I'm just saying this. When he says connivance, had there been connivance, 14,000 crores would not have been recovered from Vijay Mallya. His assets would not have been sold off. So that tells you the fact that there's no connivance. I agree with the clumsiness part of it. And, Madhav, just to give you some statistics, in the last 5 years, that is from 2019 till 2024, 138 people have been extradited by the CBI. Just to give you perspective, from 2004 to 2019, just 56 were extradited.
Okay.
So, we have to look beyond now how we can extradite.
I have have that information in front of me.
Very dear friend.
You can respond. Let me just quickly show what he's talking about. Who are the high-profile persons who've been brought back? Tahir Rana, of course, 2611 conspirator, extradited in 2025 from USA. Coming, one second, please, 1 second, Nikhil, don't jump into everything. Chota Rajan, the D-gang member, extradited in 2015 from Indonesia. These are some of the big extraditions that have taken place under the Modi government. Christian Michel, another high-profile person, a businessman, of course, wanted in the Augusta Westland case, has been extradited in 2018. Who else are we talking about? There are others as well, including Deepak Talwar, copyist, who was extradited in 2019 from the UAE, and also, of course, Ravi Pujari, Mumbai gangster, extradited in 2020 from Senegal. So there have been significant extraditions as well. Dr. Raghunathan.
It's a fantastic debate.
Let's go one by one, please. Yeah.
That's why it's such a well-reasoned debate, and I'm learning so much from it. As for my good friend Karan saying that, look, it might be clumsiness, not connivance. Let me give you a shining example. In 2014-15, the Delhi High Court convicted the BJP for violating FCRA guidelines and taking money illegally from a mining company. It was a conviction. It wasn't castigation. Rato Raat, the BJP on the floor of the parliament amended the FCRA Act, making the High Court conviction toothless. Now, what would have Congress done in under any circumstances? Would have poured onto the streets demanding resignation. Did it do that? No, because it helped the BJP in amending the FCRA Act, because it too had been convicted. Now, would you call this clumsiness or would you call it connivance?
You want to respond to that, Karan?
This is a different case altogether.
No,
we can't be comparing apples and oranges.
Why is it apples and oranges? It's on corruption.
You said that they are in connivance with Vijay Mallya and all these people.
No, not on with Vijay Mallya. I'm saying
that's what I'm saying.
When it comes to corruption.
I never said that the BJP is a holy cow and everything that the BJP does is correct. I never said that. But to say that this is connivance with Vijay Mallya and Lalit Modi, I think that's a stretch.
The conviction was that a mining company was violating the FCRA guidelines and giving donations to BJP and Congress. When I talk of connivance, when I talk of culpability, I talk of corruption. And I started by saying that there is a thin line that separates BJP and Congress, and both of them snort it.
So, okay. The Congress is equally culpable in this case. Since the questions are going to Karan, you should also respond. Nikhil Jain.
Madhav, first of all, let me respond to a point that you started the debate.
No, answer the question. Let's not go around in circles. He's asking direct questions to Karan. Please answer direct questions.
Okay,
let's not do
we're
this.
talking about connivance.
Aaj khush to bahut ho gaye tum.
Bahut zyada. Connivance, we're talking about connivance. Tell me this, Madhav, if some company is defrauding the people and the government and the banks, and the banks say, okay, listen, I think I can't recover the money given to you. I'm responding to that.
FCRA case, why did the Congress help in amending the law? Specific question, answer that.
I am specifically answering on the point of connivance. The Congress is not in power since 2014. Can you please stop asking?
You have
Congress
MPs.
Doesn't need
if you
to
want, you can
help
oppose
the government
when it's amending
the
FCRA.
law. The Congress
Answer. See, Anand is also asking questions. You can't run away from questions like this. He is answering the questions, everyone else is. Let's not try and do this. Address the question. Or admit the Congress party was wrong to allow that amendment of FCRA. Admit that.
I don't know about the FCRA
you don't know about it. You don't know. You don't know. That's fine. That's also fine.
Madhav,
you heard your answer.
You don't know of the discussion. You can't ask me about a 10-year-old amendment and ask why did the Congress support or not support a particular amendment. No, this is about FCRA and mining. This is about FCRA and mining.
It's on the larger issue of corruption. If you think that you cannot answer a larger debate on corruption, please come better prepared.
Madhav, do you want to debate?
Raman Malik.
When a finance minister can grow 6 crore rupees of cauliflower on his
simple balcony, you have to answer the questions. You have to answer the questions. Everybody is being answered. Collect your thoughts. Do some research in the meanwhile. Then you will come up with
Madhav, you are talking about
when 6 crore rupees. No crosstalk. One by one.
When 6 crore rupees of cauliflower can grow on a balcony, anything can happen.
What do you say?
When 6 crore rupees of cauliflower can be grown on a balcony in Delhi, anything can happen.
But the question of the FCRA amendment remains. Why is there this kind of chalta hai attitude when it comes to corruption cutting across the eyes?
It has become,
I think that's a legitimate question.
Anand has asked a very pertinent question, and that pertinent question comes from the basic ethos of the chalta hai attitude, which has been there since 1948 onwards till now in political circles, because that was the basic the foreground that was made.
You are admitting to that fact.
There are errors on every place.
I want Vikas Gupta to comment on this. Vikas Gupta, the point is this. Successive. One by one. Go into each of you one by one, please. Vikas Gupta, the point being made over here is this. There are multiple such cases. In fact, we brought up, of course, some of those who've been brought back to this country. So it's not a completely defeatist sort of a situation. There have been some changes in law. The government says we have our will in place. But the point is, when it comes to cracking down on individuals, there are some who are getting away scot-free.
Madhav, just give me 2-3 minutes. First of all, as far as the extradition law is there, that has been there for years together. And we've entered into various treaties with the governments, with individual governments, we enter into extradition treaty. So the law is there, and we enter into treaties. Definitely over the years, the number of countries with whom we had treaties have increased. But that has not simplified the extradition process. Understand that, point number one. Secondly, the people whom you have extradited back to India, I remember I was doing a show here in 2018 with Navika, the day Christian Michel was brought back to India. What has happened now? Interesting part. You chose your debate to that extent that he was extradited. Now what happens after that? They have not been able to complete the trial. Wow. ED maximum punishment is 7 years. He's out on bail in ED matter. What has the government done in 7 years?
Even when high profile. That's a fair point.
Please permit me. Yeah. Please, Madhav, these are serious issues. Making headlines. This fellow has come back to India. How many? They haven't started the trial as yet. The charges have not been framed. How long will it going to take? Christian Michel, there was a big headlines in 2018 that he has been brought back. Congress leaders have been there and who have been paid money. And what happened to that?
Kapil, answer that. Would you like to answer that question? Because I think it's a fair question. If you're going to bring back these offenders and we can't even convict them, what is the point of bringing them back? I think it's a fair question.
See, the answer is very short. The answer is this. Unfortunately, it is time that we put a lens on ED, on CBI, etc. because most of their cases eventually come to naught. And it is not, I'm a defense lawyer. The idea is not that, you punish everyone. But questions should be raised because it's our money at the end of the day that is funding ED and CBI. What are they doing as far as the prosecution is concerned? Unfortunately, their attitude is that the prosecution is punishment. Forget the actual punishment. So timeline, punishing the investigating officers and keeping a check on them is mandatory. That is what we've been saying in the courts as well. Supreme Court is also waking up to that. But unfortunately, the system is very slow when it comes to government bodies.
System is slow.
See, I have given 5 facts, irrefutable. Everyone across the aisle has agreed with those facts. Let me give you 2 more. The classic case is, if I were to go around the panel and ask, do you think there was corruption in the 2G case? Everyone would say yes. But then tell me, why is A. Raja out? Why is no one inside? And I'll tell you why. If you read the judgment by that honorable judge, he says from 9 to 5, I was sitting on my chair. I demanded prosecution bring evidence. No one came with evidence.
Yes.
Now, is this the way a government that represents 1.2 billion people, that the government has been brought to power saying there is massive corruption in 2G case, and the next thing you know, nobody is held accountable when everyone who is supposed to be corrupt in that case is acquitted?
I think, Raman, you can answer that question because one of the issues on which the BJP came to power in 2014 was issues of corruption such as 2G, such as CWG, all the scams we had seen. And those scams, nothing could happen in a court of law. How do we know that all these offenders who are coming in, and there's a case of Christian Michel in point, that they won't be eventually acquitted? Robert Vadra has made such a big deal of. National Herald has not been proved in a court of law. The court has actually rejected it.
See, the point is very clear, Madhav. There is a particular way in which the Indian judicial system and the government system works. Now, in this system, what is happening is, you make sure that the files are not complete since beginning. Till the time the case comes to the public forum, till the time the case is filed, you make improper files, you make weak files, and the person goes free.
Who has to do that? Who does?
Listen, this has happened. This has happened in Robert Vadra case. This has happened in the Sukanya case. This has happened in various cases. And I'll tell you one thing very clearly. This is again a systematic fault which has been there persistent.
Is it the police?
You save me and I'll save you.
Is it the lawyer? Who is doing this? What is the exact allegation?
The officials and the lawyers mixed. This is not because tomorrow this is a basic fact.
It's as simple as that.
The charge sheet, when it is created,
nobody can hear any of you when you're all speaking.
If a weak case is made, there's always acquittal. This has been a predominant forefeature of the machinery to make these
he's
cases.
referring to Christian Michel. It was not under the UPA that Christian Michel was brought in.
See the files.
So Christian Michel was brought in after
Christian
UPA?
Michel was brought in because of the change in laws, not because of the file.
No. I don't think.
Yes,
the point is completely. Right now, the Congress is nowhere in power, sir. Right now, the onus is on the BJP government. Why are they not being able to get him convicted? Is a legitimate question now because there's so much of hue and cry. Augusta Westland. He's talking about several of those other cases, including 2G, Vadra's case, all those cases, nothing has happened.
Vadra case is there in the judiciary right now. All cases have been made, all things have been given in. The judiciary has worked according to its whims and fancies. We cannot push the
judiciary is working at its whims and fancies. Respond. Nikhil Jain, respond to him.
I don't really know what to say. He's saying that the lawyers and the officials are the ones who are not making a strong case. He's not choosing to say who is the one who appoints those lawyers and those officials, who's the one who oversees them, who regulates them. It is the government of India.
The new
ED,
people who are
CBI,
coming in after
the government of India. Special prosecutor,
are different in their working style.
Everybody.
The IS officers are different, the SCS officers are different. There's an idea.
One moment.
Madhav, I'll tell you the two very important points that I've been wanting to make since the very start of this debate, that we are talking about these two people who've ran away with 7,000, 22,000, 30,000 crores, but the bigger figures are the figure of 7 lakh crores, which is the figure written off in terms of loans by public sector. I'll clear. Public sector banks, no, I'll give you the article.
You will get into trouble because they will again raise the UPA track record. Why do you want to go down that?
UPA statistics, they can't, because I'll tell you.
In the parliament on the 26th of March 2025, in the parliament in the 15th of March 2022,
can I please complete the point that I'm making? Can I please complete the point that I'm making? Can I please complete the point that I'm making? Just allow me 15 seconds.
Choose your arguments very wisely.
No, allow me.
Okay, let him speak. 30 seconds, conclude your point. 30 seconds.
Allow me 15 seconds to complete my point that this government, public sector banks have written off 7 lakh crores of loans given to corporates. Now, there is a difference between an NPA, a non-performing asset, and a loan that is written off. Something that is written off is treated as a loss. Something that is written off is treated as a loss in the accounts of the book. The right to recover always remains, but that right to recover is as good as dead. And let me tell you the statement from Nirmala Sitharaman, the finance minister, who says that I have not been able to recover 85%. You don't let me.
You made your point. Now calm down. Let's get a response. Karan Verma, respond.
The cardinal mistake that Nikhil makes in every debate, he doesn't know the difference between write-off and waiver.
Correct.
And Raghuram Rajan, I am sure he respects Raghuram Rajan.
What's the difference between write-off and
Raghuram Rajan has taken the economic...
No, you've asked a question. No, calm down. Calm down. You asked a question. Listen to the response. This is not right.
And a write-off.
Let him make his point. He's responding to you.
Did you allow me to complete what I...
You have got your 30 seconds. Don't start jumping
20 seconds of this.
Now, come on, Karan.
Raghuram Rajan, he respects Raghuram Rajan. Rahul Gandhi does podcasts with him. He took them to the cleaners on their track record as far as NPS ballooning, and he hailed the Modi government. How they cleanse this. So, first get your facts right on waiver and write-off. And Madhav, let me say this. It is the Congress government that did not have any treaty in place for the past so many years. I'll talk about UAE.
Nonsense.
Today we have UAE. One second.
The UPA government. What is he saying?
UAE. We did not have any intelligence sharing treaty with UAE insofar as legal matters related to economic offences. You just mentioned someone who was extradited with the help of UAE. None of this existed. Even with Britain. The gentleman is right that we had a treaty in 1993. We had a law for that. But it was upgraded only in 2021. And who acknowledged this? P. Chidambaram acknowledged this back in 2007. That we need further treaties to make sure that we can bring such economic offenders back. Okay. Now when the ED does something,
okay, let me ask a simple question. Just one second. Let me ask a simple question. The proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Yes.
Nikhil Jain, since you say there were all these fancy treaties, everything existed during the UPA government.
No, I'm not
how many people were brought back to India to face the law between 2005 and 2013? I have the data before me. Are you aware of it?
Please also tell the data of the number of people who absconded. No, I'm not aware of every single
piece of data. I'm giving you the information. Since you're not aware of this, please listen.
Also tell the data of the people who absconded. No, to give it in context, you have to tell the data of the number of people who absconded.
Calm down and listen to the data. Between the period of 2005 and 2013, an average of just 5 fugitives were brought back to India each year. After 2014, that number has risen to an average of 10 annually. In 2023 alone, 19 fugitives have already been returned, with 27 in the year 2022 and 18 in the year 2021.
How many absconded?
Therefore,
How many absconded?
one second, the
How many
numbers of those
absconded?
brought back is very high.
How many absconded during these 2 years?
Okay, Anand, Dr.
How many
Anand.
absconded during
Dr. Anand,
these
since-
2 years?
Okay, you're not answering that question.
Now, please. Now, you know what?
Absconded data, please.
His theory is that less number of people absconded during the UP. Of course they would, because वो तो यहाँ ज़्यादा corrupt है ना, वो रहेंगे यहाँ पे. So he is defeated his own argument. Why would they run away when they have a friendly government? Now, I am dealing only with facts. Now, one second. When it comes to corruption, as I said, there is a thin line that gets knotted. Let's talk about NPAs. In the last 10 years, the PSU NPAs are about 10.6 lakh crores worth. The government has written off a chunk of it, not waived them off, but that is sleight of hand. How much of it has been recovered? Not even 10%. Now let me give you the seventh fact. अभी तक 6 fact पे एक refute नहीं हुआ है. Seventh fact, in 2013, Prime Minister said from the dais that इतना पैसा black money है स्विट्जरलैंड में कि अगर हम वो वापस ले आएं तो हर अकाउंट में 15 लाख होगा.
15 से 20.
अरे
15
और राजनाथ सिंह ने कहा था 100 दिन में वापस लाएंगे. आप मुझे ये बताइए, कॉन्क्रीट दीजिए, कितना पैसा ब्लैक मनी स्विट्जरलैंड से पिछले 11 साल में वापस आया है?
बढ़ गया.
बताइए.
बढ़ गया.
Figures are, but then they are being worked. Whatever was the bottlenecks are being cleared off.
We remain fully committed that people who are fugitive, who are wanted by law in India, they return to the country. For this particular return, we are in talks with several governments and processes are on. As you know, in several of these cases, there are several layers of legalities which are involved in it.
There's a case of Mehul Choksi as well. 14,000 crores PNB scam, arrested in Belgium. Of course, he was also absconding in other parts of the West Indies as well. He fled India in 2018, and now his final appeal, of course, India has pressed for extradition. The extradition has been sought, and that case, his final appeal has also been removed. Of course, Mallya again was the founder of Kingfisher Airlines that we were discussing earlier, fled India in the year 2016, owes Indian banks 9,000 crores. His extradition has been sought as well. Nirav Modi is the other case we're talking about. 14,000 crores of PNB scam lodged in a London jail, and of course he has fled India in 2018, and of course at the same point of time has sought relief on multiple occasions. Multiple bail pleas have been rejected by the UK. The point is that how will we bring these individuals forward? If the legal architecture was the problem and that has now been changed, when will they come back to India is what everyone wants to see.
It should happen soon. I'll give you an example, and I think Dr. Ranganathan would also be intrigued by it. In 2017, when we requested the Interpol to issue a red corner notice against Lalit Modi, they turned down our request. They said you don't have the adequate mechanism for that. In fact, Arun Jaitley in 2018 said it's a shame that we did not have a mechanism in place, and we need this treaty, Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty, which was signed in 2021. Still, a red corner notice has not been issued. So let's understand the rot within that has existed for so much of time. I agree that, we should be more impatient and we should expect quicker answers from the government, but they've been trying for this. This is a legacy issue, unfortunately. That's how it is. I believe that
this is a legacy issue. Vivek Salas.
I think the government and these absconders are hand in gloves with each other. Nothing is going to happen. We are just going to debate and we are going to, just talk about ourselves. Nothing is going to happen,
How do you know that?
I know that because it's been more than a decade since Vijay Mallya has flown, almost a decade, and he didn't, fly away with alone. He was carrying 20 to 30 bags with him. He got the security check and everything was done,
But their
And if you
argument
see,
is that others have come back,
Madhav, if you see the Bharatiya Janata Party, all the corrupt politicians of India, be it Ajit Pawar, be it Hemant Biswa Sarma, be it Praful Patel, if you see Shivendu Adhikari, all are in the Bharatiya Janata Party, which the Bharatiya Janata Party claimed that they are the most corrupt people. Now today they are the chief minister and deputy chief minister and what not. You see, काला धन लेकर आएंगे 100 दिन, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा था, श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी ने नहीं कहा था. और 15 से 20
Who's the chief minister you're talking about?
Hemant Biswa Sarma. He was.
So if Ajit Pawar wants to come back to India Alliance, you will not accept him.
No.
If Ajit Pawar wants to come back to India Alliance, you will never accept him.
That is not the question. That is not the question. The question is that BJP brought him to, the Prime Minister said that he is the most corrupt politician in India, and he's accused of 70,000 crore irrigation scam. And just within 40 hours, he joins the Bharatiya Janata Party and becomes a deputy prime minister.
The whitewashing
that is the reality of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
whitewashing charge, this is, everybody who comes towards the NDA, suddenly their charges disappear. And of course, it's a strong arming and misuse of agencies that the India Alliance is
I'm a very big
about.
fan of Ajit Pawar coming into the fold of the NDA, to be very honest. I have been very vocal about it. As far as Himanta Biswa Sarma is concerned, there was never a case. He was an informant. That was ratified also. That should be clear. He was. It's never that some agency stopped working against him.
Say that? So why did the Prime Minister accuse Himanta Biswa Sarma of corruption?
So, you know,
मुंह से निकल जाते हैं क्या रैलियों में?
They already issued a white paper for him.
I am talking
The party in the party issued a white paper for him.
Sarma was never an accused. That's what I'm talking about.
No credibility. That is what my
Nikhil Jain, on a lighter note, Nikhil Jain should not be talking about
Your system of feeding pity, the same biscuits as your party workers was predominantly active. वो राहुल गांधी के पिड्डी को जो बिस्किट दिया जाता है वही कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ताओं को दिया जाए. That was the culture, and that became failed after he joined the team. What doing in the Congress?
Okay.
And he was talking about his self-respect.
Gentlemen, totally out of time. All right, quick closing comment. Quick closing point. Yes, Vikas Gupta. Quick closing point.
Gitanjali jewelers have
1
been
minute, please.
waved off by this government.
Madhav,
7,000
Vikas
crores.
Gupta.
Yeah, let me just
Quick closing comment, please.
Let me call out their bluff.
We have
We
exceeded
don't
our
have
time.
extradition treaty with 155 countries as claimed by him. We have only with 48 countries, and we have arrangements with only 12 countries. That total is 60. And out of this, only 5 countries have been added post 2014.
Okay.
No, what was said? You have missed this.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Gentlemen, totally out of time. Vikas Gupta, as well as Vivek Silas, Nikhil Jain, Dr. Anand Raghunathan, Raman Malik, Kapil Sangla, Karan Verma. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on this edition of the National Debate.